New York City had its nose in a book today. There was a big book fair in Manhattan, and Chris Kelly browsed around.
The heart of New York's Fifth Avenue was taken over by book lovers, the curious, and the booksellers, but it hardly seemed like a literary event.
J.R. Ewing of Dallas, take your shot, win the button, read the Dallas paperback. Thank you.
Children's books were a main attraction of the fair, and the youngsters looked in awe at authors as if they were movie stars.
Can we have your autograph? I'm not allowed to sign anything but Super Fudge.
Super Fudge?
Super Fudge is the new book. There's a baby in the new book, and the first word she says is yuck, and everybody thinks she's talking about New York. So she says me yuck, and she's not really. She's talking about her diapers.
How do you get kids interested in a new science book? Get them to draw questions in an intelligence test.
Einstein-Anderson knows that there is something so tiny that a single drop of water has 6 billion of them. Do you know what these tiny things are called?
What are those tiny things called?
Atoms.
Atoms, very good, and we have a super winner.
have another super winner.
Many of the children's books drew long lines of adults thinking ahead to Christmas. The profits from this event don't go to the publishers. They'll be a special present to the city library system. Chris Kelly, CBS News, New York.
I'm Charles Osgood, CBS News. Good night.
More music now from John Heisman's Coliseum. I shouldn't think anyone would have much trouble dancing to this one, John. Plenty hard luck.
Heard some guys talk about a money-making deal. Don't think I can make it. Looks like I gotta steal. I'm kinda low in money. Yeah, but baby, I'm high in the blues. Well, I got no cocaine, but baby, I got plenty of love. Some guys make it and some guys don't. If I don't make it, gonna use this cup. Yeah, I'm kinda low in money, but baby, I'm sort of high in the blues. Well, I got no cocaine, but baby, I got plenty of love.
Judy Blume's books for young people sell in the millions of copies. She is called the most censored writer of children's books. Frank Courier examines some of the reasons why.
Yeah, that traditional heartland barometer of American opinion, there's a difference of opinion over First Amendment rights of children in the classroom. 3 books by an award-winning storyteller have been banned from Peoria's public elementary school libraries because of sexual content or strong language. Inappropriate, administrators say, for pre-7th grade readers.
I have no apologies to make. There are many times in education that you delay instructing students on a certain topic because they're not old enough.
The banned titles by author Judy Blume deal with an adolescent boy and his sexual awakening, a young girl who discovers her developing body, and an overweight schoolgirl who overcomes cruel teasing by classmates.
I think that censorship of children's books is almost always caused by adult fear. Fear of the issues, fear of real life and feelings and sexuality.
The books are among 14 written by Bloom, who is praised by critics for her realistic portrayal of adolescent problems. But teachers and some parents in Peoria complained.
I think they should be banded, right. I think they're a little bit too deep for the children.
Learning is about looking at both sides of the issues and then learning to make wise decisions. That's what life is about.
The books may not play in Peoria, but Judy Blume will be honored for her works this week in Chicago, ironically with the Carl Sandburg Freedom to Read Award. Frank Courier, CBS News, Chicago.
It is one of this nation's best-known and respected companies, and it produces some of the most familiar items in American commerce: toothpaste, soap, detergents. But ridiculous as it may seem, now, again, there are people who insist this company supports something called the Church of Satan. Ned Potter looks at rumor, fear, and the madness of crowds in 1984 America.
In the coal country of western Pennsylvania, there are demons that just won't go away. Rumors have returned that the tiny logo on every product made by Procter & Gamble is actually a symbol of Satan.
I thought, well, if this is true, you know, I didn't want to use them, but I didn't know what I was going to supplement them with.
Procter & Gamble has been fighting this talk for years, and after a major publicity campaign 2 years ago, thought it had it beaten.
And the 13 stars represent the original 13 colonies.
There's no organized group kind of effort to spread the rumor. It's primarily individuals who are spreading the rumor by using these one-page flyers that repeat the rumor stories.
But in Milwaukee, Virginia Mavis published the flyer in her religious newspaper.
It was not far out to me, because a lot of people are not Christian.
How do you stop it, and why has it come back to life across the country?
In the case of a rumor recurring, people have forgotten what the rebuttal was. They don't remember why it was wrong, but they remember something about the assertion, and so it pops up again.
A man said people here are so concerned about their troubles, from the lack of jobs to the danger of nuclear war, that they are searching for some explanation. And if they're religious, well, Satanism seems as logical as any other.
If there wasn't something to it, then the talk wouldn't be out, would it?
Procter & Gamble, how may I help you?
Last month, the company got 5,000 calls. It's mounted another big information drive and threatened to sue leafleters.
Still, I know that when I go shopping and I pick up one of their products, it'll always run through my mind that something like this was brought out.
That's what we're up against, says the company. We don't think we'll ever do away with the rumors entirely. Ned Potter, CBS News, Clymer, Pennsylvania.
As the shuttle orbits above, a 2-year congressional study concluded today that NASA's proposed $8 billion space station cannot be justified on scientific, economic, or military grounds.
It's largely agreed that November's election sent winds of change through American life, mandating a more conservative approach to the nation's problems. Less federal spending, some say, and lower taxes. It may be a while before we see the results of those programs, but some also view the election as inspiration to censor what people read and see and hear. And the results of those efforts, as Eric Ingberg reports, already are being felt.
This is a religious gathering.
How do you feel, Ted?
Jesus is Lord!
The Peters brothers, fundamentalist ministers from St. Paul, Minnesota, traveled the country preaching that rock music has no place in the life of a real Christian.
Hey, if the devil isn't using immoral sex, if he's not using impure thoughts in young people, if he's not using rock music, if he's not using drugs, if he's not using alcohol to lure young people away from God, what is the devil using?
At the end of their 2-day seminar on the evils of rock, they call on youthful followers to burn their albums and to carry the message to their friends. The Peters are part of a cultural counter-revolution aimed at reversing what many see as this country's slide into immorality. Cashing in on the results of November's conservative election sweep, the counter-revolution is stepping up efforts to control the books people read, the movies they see, the records they listen to.
I have a right to go to the school and inspect the materials that the children are reading, whether they're my children or not.
Charles Salterman heads a citizens group in the rural community of Montello, Wisconsin. 3 weeks ago, members descended on 2 school libraries and checked out 33 books, including The Great Gatsby, The Diary of Anne Frank, and Catch-22, to determine, they said, their fitness for young people.
I'm sure that if we would take all the books off the shelf that they deemed need to come off the shelf, they'd be happy. I think we have the democratic process that says that your children and my children and everybody else's child has the right to have certain books available to them.
Under fire from the school board, local newspapers, and even some high school students, Solderman's concerned citizens returned most of the books. Others they held back, books that dealt with sex or contained profanity or discussed religion. Among them, the teenage body book, Man-Child in the Promised Land, and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Last week, at a stormy meeting of the board, Solderman handed over the remaining books, but challenged their continued presence in school libraries. The challenge is now pending.
Literally, the public library is a dangerous place. That is, it's a dangerous place if you are opposed to the free exchange of ideas. Any man can get his poison here.
In Tampa, Florida, the issue extends to the public libraries. It centers on Where Did I Come From, a sex education book librarians say is a highly regarded standard in its field. The book was borrowed from a public library branch by a 7-year-old with the permission of his parents. A teacher confiscated the book at school on the grounds it was not suitable for children. An outraged PTA president demanded action from the local government. As a result, a conservative county commissioner has launched a campaign to remove the book and 5 others, including How Babies Are Made, from the library's juvenile section.
And if they don't, then, we will take it one step further. And we'll certainly scrutinize and look at their particular budgets and their activities of the public library system.
Attempts to ban books from library shelves nationwide have doubled in recent months, according to the American Library Association. Often, the group called Moral Majority has taken the lead in such efforts. The story is as old as the country. Those who see their moral values under attack versus those who see their freedoms under attack.
I think that we're seeing that kids can't read in the public schools, they can't add, they can't fill out a checkbook, they don't know how to fill out an employment application, but they know their sex education pretty well.
The values in our society have changed immensely since these people went to high school. There's a whole value change there as far as the type of language that is used between the kids in the school.
I can't change their morals, that's true, but I do object to their immorality being forced on people that object to it, including me.
It's amazing, the views expressed here. What is your specific objection to the book? And the person says vulgar and obscene. And we ask, what would you like the library to do about this book? And they say, would you like to use a pack of matches? Burn it.
Few challengers of the status quo pack the showmanship of the Peters album burnings. That does not diminish their overall determination or their confidence. Those now pushing to restrict what people hear and read and see uniformly point to the last election as confirmation that they are not a minority, but a growing majority in this country. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Baker, Louisiana.
That's our report for this Wednesday. Until tomorrow, Dan Rather, CBS News. Good night.